March 2005, Daniel Lehmann from Switzerland and Alexander Kopylov from Russia leave on an incredible odyssey, the first crossing of Lac Hulun on an ice sailing boat. China, a country of 3 billion inhabitants. Daniel and Alexander are going all the way into the heart of the Inner Mongolia to fulfill a lifelong ambition. The locals call this the southern door to Siberia and Mongolia. The warmth of its inhabitants of the region is in stark contrast to the austere frozen landscape. Here, in winter, temperatures can drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Despite the extreme cold, breaking the ice is still possible. Ice sailing is rather unknown here in China. Alexander and Daniel left Irkutsk and traveled through the wide forest of Siberia. After 3 long days, they eventually reached China. The expedition's meeting point is the town of Manjuli, located about 30 kilometers from the lake. Two days before departure, all details are double-checked. There is a peculiar emphasis on safety. During summertime, Lac Hulun is a favorite leisure spot for the locals. But during the 5 to 6 winter months, while the lake is completely frozen over, this, the only hotel in the region, stands empty. This is their first contact with the ice, on average about 1 meter thick. The ice seems smooth enough to sail across. Before starting their epic voyage, the small team of adventurers carefully do a last check of their equipment. The wind is strong and even, perfect for departure the next day. The first attempts are promising. The boats are fast with impressive acceleration. Daniel and Alexander can't wait to get going. Next morning, the wind is perfect. Conditions are as good as they can get.
I think we have good wind, good ice, good organization. The only problem now, we must start maybe in just any minutes.
Both pilots are ready. Time to go. first stop is called the third of the way. It's a pit stop to check how the equipment is holding up. All seems okay, and the men continue on their way. A worrying factor, however, is the number of cracks in the ice. These are called crashes by the locals, and the bigger they become, the more worrying it is. These cracks in the ice are more worrying for the two vehicles accompanying the adventurers. Heavier than the boats, they are more at risk of falling through the ice. Happily, there are frequent meetings with the locals along the way. This man fishing for carps knows the secrets of the ice well. He indicates a longer but safer route to Daniel and Alexander. The way initially chosen displayed some dangerous cracks. Alexander is starting to feel the effects of fatigue. The consistently high levels of concentration needed to pilot the boats are taking their toll. Additionally, lying in an uncomfortable position for a long time have added to the stress. Next stop, as 2/3 of the day's distance has been covered. The two pilots take maximum advantage of the short break to rest and recover, but they must also plan the rest of the crossing, which looks even more difficult. The changing weather conditions create this wonderful lunar landscape. There are some impressive cracks ahead, covered by wind-borne sand. Sand that has sometimes been blown in from far away. A way must be found through the danger zone. After a number of attempts sailing back and forth to try and find a passage, the two sailors decide to wait for the rest of the team to catch up. They have to wait almost an hour for the support crew to arrive, who have made a longer detour. Finally, the team can leave for the last stage, a very fast stage with speed up to 60 km per hour. The sun is getting low and the adventurers have to think about stopping for the night. Lac Hulun is full of happy surprises, and this unexpected meeting with local fishermen is one of them. Daniel always enjoyed these surprise meetings. These local fishermen, living in modest conditions, are astonished to meet up with these strange westerns and their even stranger ice sailing boats. Life is difficult for the inhabitants of the shores of Lac Hulun. They rely heavily on the industrial fishing operation on the lake. It is not unusual for fishermen to bring up 50 tons of fish in their nets. As the sun sets, Alexander and Daniel finally reach their goal. The southern shores of Lac Hulun await our travelers. They are ecstatic with joy at having added another frozen lake to their list of conquests, Lake Baikal in Siberia and Lake Upsgul in Mongolia. During the next few days, our pilots hope to return back across Lac Hulun. Changing weather conditions and tempestuous wind, however, forced our travelers to abandon their plans. The adventure was still incredible, and the meetings with the local population were memorable. It is the sharing of experiences that makes an adventure like this one that much more special.